going on with this breakout session. So let me introduce to you Miss Alina Abdullah, founder of Yellow Tree. So Alina, she has an extensive operational and strategic knowledge in brand, marketing, and sales management in real and B2B markets. She has worked with global brands spanning MNC consumer products, hotels, telcos, and also startups. The Yellow Tree venture was set up to help build strong brands and business foundations for micro businesses and entrepreneurs among underserved communities, and developing heritage food initiatives as well. We share a passion for food anyways, right? So if you want to know about what happens, Alina's the person to tell you. She's also a co-founder of Pathway, a corporate business advisory specializing in digitalization, people development, and internationalization. Joining her is an esteemed panel. Mr. Saktivel Narayanasamy, CEO of Galactic Advanced Engineering. He is a good friend of ours. Mr. Kamarul Mohammed, founder and CEO of Aerodyne Group. Very well welcome to you, sir, Mr. Kamarul. And of course, rounding up the panel is Ms. Yvonne Lim, Asia Pacific Business Development Manager of EOS Singapore. With that, I'm happy to hand proceedings to you, Alina. And perhaps you can begin with a few overarching remarks on the topic to set the context for discussions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lynn, for such a great and grand introduction of myself and everyone else on the panel. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have such a great topic to cover because we are talking about staking your place in the world of Industry 4.0. A branding perspective. Now, why is this important? If you Google branding and Industry 4.0, you'll find little to very no information, basically. Now, one must really understand that for brands, stakeholders are critical to maintaining the organizational reputation and growing brand value. Yeah, and inconsistencies in any kind of brand experience, whether you're in tech or you're in consumer products, the failures of a brand promise and corporate misdeeds are often aired on social media, regardless whether you're a B2B or a B2C business. And right now in our digital economy, ecosystems are playing an increasingly important role in shaping consumer and brand behavior, and of course, determining the desired outcomes for the company. So let's find out our guest's approach when it comes to branding in Industry 4.0, because it is really something new for all of us. So let's go straight into it and talk about branding. And I would love to ask Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Hi, Yvonne. So Yvonne's from EOS, and I want to ask Yvonne, what is your industry's view on branding and how is it evolving at this point in time?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. For EOS, we started 30 years ago as a technology provider. And in the past, our branding is always about providing customer with the best additive manufacturing technology. But as we move forward, recently, we brand ourselves because branding is always a promise that we give our customers. So we have to brand ourselves that is close to our heart, something that is really close to the purpose of our company. So in the recent years, instead of branding ourselves as a technology provider, we actually brand ourselves as a trusted partner for our customers to help them to be a responsible manufacturing partner with industrial 3D printing. So we believe that innovation and technology can help create a better world for everybody. So it's not just technology that can help you improve your revenue, but it is also a company that can help you improve your social responsibility and also, of course, your social responsibility towards your employee. So that is how we are currently branding ourselves. And I would believe that if we stay close to our purpose, we will be sustainable and be responsible to both our customers, our social environmental requirements, and also our employees.
Oh, fantastic. That's really, really great because, you know, for branding, purpose and being a trusted partner is critical. And especially for Industry 4.0 and tech, where the majority of consumers are also very skeptical or, you know, find it quite difficult to trust brands in this area because it's still very, very new. Thank you for that, that feedback. And I wanted to ask Sakti, what do you think about how the industry is evolving when it comes to brand?
Okay, let me give you a corporate answer. They always say that branding is the core of the company strategy, and that goes in terms of long term to provide you with a stable vision of how you look. Okay. Now let's then give you my perspective of things. My perspective of things is a brand is your identity, is your promise, basically. So, for example, at Galactic, what we do is we have a brand promise which is founded on excellent engineering, robust solution, and guaranteed continued operation for years. So how we do this is very straightforward. To give you a small story, I was at a customer's place just last month, where I told them the drives that we installed 20 years ago have been still running. And we said we need to go for the upgrades so that they will continue to be good for another 20 years, possibly. And in fact, the customer, it's a multinational company, they were surprised that it's 20 years it's been running now. Yes, I said, yes, I installed it when we started the company 20 years ago, and it's still running. And but it's what you call, it's coming to, it ages, so you need to replace it before it breaks down. So that goes to promise, that goes to keep our promise that this guaranteed continuous operation part. And so more than speaking about brand, we actually actualize the brand and show that it is a functioning identity of your own company. Just moving forward a little bit, we have, that's Galactic, okay? That's an engineering company, it's very solid, so you have to be, reflect robustness and longevity and all. So we also have quantum computing, which is basically a millennial company, which means develops software. Here, it is different. It's about freedom, sustainability, human-centric, and digitalization. So here, it's about fast, being real, on real-time information, having predictive maintenance, having zero downtime and all. So in this case, the brand image is totally different. It's a little bit about agility. It's about speed. It's about being now and all. Fantastic. So just to conclude, one is solidarity and one is about being agile. Thank you, Nina.
Oh, thank you for that, Sakti. I think that's great. I think this industry can deliver, you know, really precise solutions. And like you said, that brand promise can really be translated into executing things well and delivering that promise to customers. Now, that's really great insight. Because sometimes that is the biggest challenge in, you know, consumer retail products outside of tech. I'd like to move a little bit to, for example, what Dr. Darius earlier in one of his talks talking about consumer insights. Let's move to consumer insights, because consumer insights are incredibly valuable, whether you are B2B or, you know, B2C. A business. And how is this developed? Now, I'd like to ask Kamaro, if you don't mind answering this question. How is this developed internally at Aerodyne Group? And are there any strategic partners that are involved to enrich this area of branding?
At the moment, everything is actually done internally for the purpose of getting that feedback loop from our customers, from our users and all that. But of course, I wanted to relate to this as well, because branding is trust, right? A customer comes to us is because they trust us, right? So it's very important for us to get that feedback loop. So we do get this. We don't use external. A simple answer to your question: we do not use any external partners. It's all developed in-house. But we structure our operations. We are in 35 countries, but we have offices in 12. So the way we manage this is that our regional offices are very close. We are B2B actually, so we have only a handful of big customers. These people are Fortune 500 companies and all that. So we do have that intimate relationship from them, with them actually. So that's how we know, that's how we can, gauge the temperature of our customers really.
Right. I mean, in the marketing and the branding world, Kamaru, this happens quite often, whether it's yearly or quarterly, depending on the investment people have. Do you see the industry looking outside with other partners to actually develop a more holistic approach to consumer insights versus one that's developed internally?
Definitely, I do see that being a need in the future. We do have initial engagement already. It's just that it's not something that we have started yet. Primarily, I mean, we are still a young company. We are 6.5-year-old company right now, and our focus has been really about creating our brand value right now. It's about people to understand who we are. So in terms of this part, we have not started yet, to be honest.
Well, fantastic. Well, good. Thank you for that sharing. I think that's very valuable. Yvonne, if you don't mind my asking, let's go to marketing strategies, right? After branding, once you've got that all settled, you move to marketing. And usually marketing strategies that are more robust have a very strong brand framework that's developed. Can you share with us how EOS is approaching this area of marketing?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So when it comes to marketing strategies, we stay really close to our customers. I think in advanced technology or in digital transformation, it's impossible to complete this task on your own. So we strongly believe that, if we work with partners, we work with our customers, be it technology partners or customers, that's where we really bring the whole solution to our end users. So in terms of our marketing strategies, what we're trying to do is really we work very closely with our customers and also our technology partners to bring the right solutions to our customers, be it in terms of training, in terms of enablement, in terms of software, in terms of data analytics. So it actually covers a broad range, but it also helps us reach out to the right users that requires the solutions. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. I mean, it's great to still really feel that you guys are very customer centric and a key element in branding. I'd like to move into something a little bit more digital. For Industry 4.0, usually the digital champions are the drivers of brand execution and strategy as well. I'd love to ask Sakti his view on this. And brand champions or digital champions can usually distinguish themselves in 4 critical business ecosystem layers, we call it. And some people might debate it, but right now we can look into, for example, it's customer solutions. It could be operations, it could be technology, and most importantly, that's a lot of things that have been echoed in the past talks is people, right? And which of these areas for you, Sakti, your company, would branding be of most priority?
Thank you, Halina. Definitely solution, okay? Because what we have seen is solution is the key that empowers the other 3 aspects of the features that you have mentioned just now. For example, operations is always assisted by the solutions that we provide, and technology follows that operation, and eventually people are the benefactors of that. I'll give you a small example of this. In a factory, they were having issues with loading some tubes. This is a pharmaceutical factory. They were having issues about loading tubes consistently and all. So we installed something called an auto loader, which loaded things promptly and correctly with the correct alignment and stuff like that. So basically what it did is this solution solved the problem of productivity, which is basically operations. And the technology that it was employing, which means it gave the exact count of how many tubes were being loaded and so on and so forth. provided very good insights to the management that how things are being managed now. And it also helped to reduce the manpower, which means the human resource could be channeled to another area which is more or requiring more attention. So definitely solution.
Solution-based. And I mean, with that insight, how would you translate it into something that would actually strengthen your brand presence in your area of Industry 4.0, Sakti?
Okay. So what we normally do when it comes to Industry 4.0 is our solution always incorporates data. That means we always give feedback in terms of whether a parameter is breached or a parameter is kept in check. If somebody is manufacturing something and it needs to be within a certain specification, then we always take the data from there and feed it to the relevant parties, whether it be a manufacturing manager or the manufacturing supervisor, so that they can always keep things in check and not produce any bad quality stuff and things like that. So Industry 4.0 is definitely an integral part of the solution.
Okay, integration. Now, I'd like to ask Kamarul, again, that ecosystem of, being customer solutions oriented, operations, technology, and of course, people. How do you see your brand add value in these areas?
Certainly. I mean, we are in the space of providing digital transformation for our customers using data and drone. Right, and of course, people are still at the forefront of it because we have our set of technology that we have developed over time that can actually already function very well for our customers. Of course, continuous improvement is very important, but for us, we actually place a little bit more importance to the people itself. Because people are our ambassadors, people are the one that is client facing, they are the one that understand the problem statement of our customers, and they are the one that string all of these technology together in order to deliver what a customer would need. So much so that we place so much importance in branding our people. We call them Aero Rangers. So today we have about 500 Aero Rangers around the world, and Aero Rangers are being taught that we are all problem solver, make it easy. We are almost a yes man. We say yes to anything. We go out of our way to solve problems for our customers. So to these questions, we put a lot more focus into making a customer-centric team within our organization.
Right. Thank you very, very much for that. That's really great insight on how businesses in Industry 4.0 can actually bolster, their people's presence out in the market and make them brand ambassadors for their brand and business. Now, Yvonne, let me ask you some questions about data. Yeah, because I think data takes center stage in Industry 4.0, right, and digitalization. And of course, this allows a very customer-centric, approach to marketing, and things can be executed with precision. Now, while this is crucial, for us to make sense of data, do you think that the industry can bring out the human element of consumer behavior?
I think that definitely it does, because it enhances the human element, I would suggest, because data is just data. How we consolidate the data and report the data to put it in such a way that a human can make the decision whether to go for or not to go for. So data may take the center stage, but human eventually takes the decision. So in order for us to really make sense of the data, human comes in play. And that's where I think it's really important that we understand what our customer needs. So with this data, it actually gives us information on what is a gap that that some customers require, and that's where also it will help either a corporate or a company improve their current product or step up on their marketing strategies. So I think data is definitely something that helps the human make the decision. So human, to me, still takes the center stage in Industry 4.0.
Fantastic, and good to know that as well, Yvonne. Now, Sakti, if I could ask you a question about how, how challenging it is actually for a lot of businesses out there to, well, basically embrace Industry 4.0. Yeah, there are a lot of challenges, and for you to be in the industry for so long and you've been so successful, how would you, advise the teams out there to make branding a priority in what they do and in this industry?
Okay. Thank you, Lina, for the confirmation that we are successful.
All of you.
Thank you. So, just joking. Okay, moving forward, yes, to be brand centric or to ensure that your brand speaks for you, especially in this challenging environment, Industry 4.0. In fact, just moments ago, Dato Sri Mustafa Mohamad also said that the SMEs must push to become the players in the international market, which is echoing what we have been telling. If your brand represents what you do, which is basically speaks your brand promise, speaks your identity of what you do and all, then you can fly into the international market. One of the small issues I have seen that faces some of the of our SMEs going towards the international market is inconsistencies, because what happens is their marketing doesn't follow their brand values, and what happens is there's a disconnect. So once there's a disconnect, this is picked up by the customers at the end, and then you don't get a synergy in terms of what you're marketing and what you get in terms of your returns. I hope that gave some perspective into.
Yes, absolutely. I like what you mentioned about brand disconnect, because the moment people can actually, or your customers can smell you from afar, that's
Correct.
it, right? Maybe, we can ask Yvonne as well. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, you're in Singapore. What do you advise those in the Asia Pacific, to be more competitive out there? What can they do? What should they do when they go out into the international market?
I think it's really about business model. So I think when we enter the international market, it's not about following the trend. So I think there have been questions about, everybody's talking about digital transformation. I should be doing this digital transformation, but the cost is so high. So the question is, it's not about following the trend. It's really back to your business model, whether your company can still be competitive without this digital transformation. If the answer to you is in the next 5 years, your company will no longer be competitive without digital transformation, then your answer is you have to embark on digital transformation. So I think this really about the business model. So really stay true to your business model. And I think I really like what the earlier speaker talked about the branding. Branding is something that we perceive our company to be, but the actual branding is what customers see us as. And that is the branding that will stay. So whether we stay competitive or not, that really stays true when we have a strong, sustainable business model. So I think we have to stay close to ensure that we have a sustainable and competitive business model.
Well, thanks for that feedback. That's very, very honest, and it's something that people should take a step back and think about their business model. So Kamarul, if I could also ask you, I mean, for Aerodyne, how has that journey been to bring the Aerodyne brand out there and for people to know what you do? Or how has that journey been? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure, it's been a very exciting journey, close to 7 years, from the first 3 years only being in Malaysia. And the moment we wanted to go beyond Malaysia, then we started to really be thinking about brand already. If we were to go out there and then just purely going and then showing what we have, it's just not going to cut it. Even on the strength of technology alone, it won't be good enough as well. At the end of the day, people want to trust you, because we are working with mostly large corporations, Fortune 500 companies, big organizations. So we really have to think very deeply how we want to approach this, So in fact, in the end, we have to turn back to full circle again. At the end of the day, we thought, why don't we let technology do the talking? So we have to work, utterly hard to develop something that is cutting edge, something that is not available yet in the market. Because if you were to go out and say, hey, we are a Malaysian company, we are a technology company, we provide this, we tried that strategy, it didn't work, right? So in the end, we spend a little bit more time, a year or so, to actually strengthen our solution. And our solution is data analytics using drone data, and provide the solutions for our customer. So we started this in Australia for the first time in 2017. And our approach was really to brand ourselves as a global company, a global digital transformation using drone technology rather than geographical locations, and it works. It works. So we try to understand what is it that they were looking for. And the problem of digital transformation at that time, at least, is that it's a compromise. You can get faster and better, you cannot get cheaper. You want cheaper and better, you cannot get faster, right? So we started with the premise that, hey, what if we can do all three? Right? So we spend a lot of effort and technology to develop a solution that can give them all three. And so it was that promise that enabled them to give us the opportunity to prove ourselves, to be honest, right? And that was the strategy that we took, and it worked for us.
Great. Fantastic, Kamarul. Now, after hearing all of you, what you've been, talking about how branding has evolved for each of your companies and even during this journey, I'm sure there are many traditional, I wouldn't say traditional, I mean agencies, traditionally branding outside Industry 4.0. You're talking about advertising, you're talking about strategic agencies who want to come in and help companies, in the digital space to transform themselves as a brand. You would probably have data agencies, consumer insights agencies who are very good at what they do. And I'm sure they're really hungry to approach all the successful businesses in this area. What, if you can, I'll just go one by one. Yvonne, what are your needs if they were going to approach you? Can we help you, EOS, with the branding strategy? How can we help you with consumer insights? What's important to get them into your door?
Wow, that's probably a question for my marketing folks, but I think what's important is really how can they help me help my customer? So it's always not about me, it's always about my end users. So if they can reach out to me in a way that, they can make my end users better in a certain way, succeed in a faster way, they are in my door. Yeah, so I think that is the most straightforward answer. If they can help me help my customer, they are in.
Well, that may be simple, Yvonne, but I think the agencies out there, the ones where at least we're used to, have a lot of homework to do for this industry, to understand what the end users want. Well, fantastic, simple answer. If you're an agency out there, please listen to that. Now you got to do your homework. Sakti, how about you? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so in our case, if an agency wants to do marketing for us, they have to highlight the USPs that we have. That includes the solutions that we have already given quite a large volume of our customers, and most of the solutions are repeatable. For example, to reduce waste, it's easily repeatable to various industries, or to reduce energy, definitely repeatable to across the board. So if you can accentuate and you can show exactly how it's done in a very concise manner, I understand now the attention span is only 40 seconds or something like that. So you have to make a very short movie so that people can see it in a quick way. Then that would be fantastic. But that's I believe it's almost like what Yvonne said, because that will bring forth the solution to the customer to themselves, so they can reflect on it by themselves and come back to us and say, can you do this for us?
Great. Thank you, Sakti. And of course, I'd like to ask Kamaro your thoughts. I'm sure, they'd be really excited to walk into your door as well. What do they need to understand?
So maybe I would share one of our key challenge, right? We operate in various regions, and each of these regions have its own idiosyncrasies and identity. In Saudi Arabia, it's very different to doing business in Brazil or Argentina, for example. And in America, even in North America, it's very different to doing it in Europe. To be honest, our team, they are just like bulldozer. They just go ahead without really thinking, but we were able to do this on the strength of our unique technology. So I think the next step would probably to have a more structured or coordinated approach to address this challenge that we have. So perhaps that's something that we can get from these branding agents, from these agencies. If they can help us with this, then let's talk.
Fantastic. So if they're not out there today, I would definitely send the recording of this to all of them, because this really brings new insight to how not just, companies in Industry 4.0 to take their place into their stake into the manufacturing industry, but for, the agencies or at least third-party companies out there, how they can help you. We're coming to a close for our breakout session. I wish we could talk more, because this is really, really great information. And it's not as scary, especially when you have Yvonne and Sakti and Kamaro, who are so open and just tell you really simple, answers when it comes to branding. But, it's fantastic to actually hear today how the simple things matter to everyone involved in this Industry 4.0, brand promise, being close to your customers, purpose, making sure that people trust you and that you can deliver what it is that you can do. Strategically, you are consumer centric, and this is really amazing. Because I guess from people outside, they would probably think, no, they're probably really tech. These don't matter. But I think today we have really seen how important humans play a role in what we do. So we have any questions here, actually? Let me have Abhishek. Okay. Sorry, is this sector? Okay. How can you... Do we have any? No, I'm sorry. This is another question, I believe. No.
The question here is very much related to his product in improving performance with exotic technology. By that, Sakti, you might need to explain, because exotic technology is something new to me.
For sure, from a brand perspective too. What's that?
What does exotic technology mean? And benchmarking data or historic data. Anyways, there's another question in the chat side. I will bring it up when Sakti has answered this.
Okay, I can answer it now, or you would like me to type it in? Yeah. Oops, looks like it disappeared. It was, hang on.
Yeah, under answered.
Under answered.
Yeah, it's gone to answer. Okay, so to Sakti, how can you improve performance with exotic technology without even having benchmark data or historic data? How will your predictive systems work? Also, how can you just propose technology without knowing the business KPI objectives?
Okay, that's 3 or 4 questions in one. Okay.
Yep.
I believe the questionnaire, when he said exotic technology, I think he meant obsolete technology or technologies which are far behind, not connectable via a computer and stuff like that. Okay, so in those cases, we have this such thing called IIoT sensors at present times, where we can fix sensors which don't require any automation. They are just standing alone, self-powered, and they send the information back to you, be it how many pieces of widget that you have made, or how long a machine run, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, coming to the situation of you can't make benchmarks of KPI without knowing the process. That is absolutely true. You have to go into the environment. You have to study it a little bit to know what are the inputs and outputs that are required and what it's in between. For example, how much energy is required, how much manpower is required, and you have to put it together to come up with a KPI, and which is what we do with some of our solutions, so that customers get a visceral input of how their machines or their production is running. I hope I answered the question.
Yes.
Hmm.
Lynn, do
right.
we have some time for more questions, or?
We have 3 minutes to 4:30, so I'm going to just post this one last question.
Right.
Matt E actually asked, if we still have time, okay, wait, could you share how startups in the Industry 4.0 space appeal to larger companies? So to me, obviously the companies here are very large, right? So then there's a startup atmosphere and everybody wants to be a startup right now. That's like the trendiest thing, I think. Okay, how can they appeal to you guys and the greater LLE? Maybe Kamarul or Elaine might like, Yvonne would like to take this.
Yeah, okay, I'll start. You know, we are always looking for innovators. There's always a new thing that comes, and usually innovation comes from the smaller companies as well. I mean, that's how we started, right? So we are always open for ideas. We do all kind of collaborations in country, overseas as well, in the space of AI data, in the space of sensors as well. So any of those, please do come and talk to us. We're always looking for innovations and ideas, and we can add value to one another.
Okay,
Yes.
I have, yeah, Yvonne, yeah.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with what Kamaru mentioned. So startups are known to be creative and agile. So I think in additive manufacturing, we have seen a lot of startups to be successful in terms of introducing innovative products, and also to fight for a position in a very old industry, be it aviation industry. So we definitely believes in startups. So as long as you have the right vision, right product, and right strategy, we are open to discuss with you. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Lynn, if you don't mind, I would really like this question to, to come out, because, okay, well, this question comes from Linda. Thanks, Linda. People have this perception that foreign brand / technology is far more superior than Malaysian owned brand or technology. I would probably presume as well Asian in general. How do you defy that perception? Kamarul, let's start with you.
Yeah, actually that's what we have been doing. It's been very, very difficult. In the first place, the reason why we started to go outside of Malaysia, because we couldn't even get that trust here in Malaysia. When we were small, when we started like 5-6 years ago, going to GLCs and all that, they would prefer to get foreign companies, right? So even though if we have a better solution ourselves, so how do we solve this? We go outside, we started selling, we prove ourselves in Australia, we've proven ourselves in Japan, and we have that story to tell, which is a brand story as well. Then people open up. It's a sad reality, something that we should change, moving forward, but that's the reality. So we then come back, and then we have all of this story that gives us that brand and that trust. So it's rather unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And this is something that I hear happens everywhere. This is the same
Absolutely.
story.
Thank you for that honesty, Kamara. I think that at least gives a lot of comfort, at least for people. Yvonne, your thoughts on this?
I think I totally agree. I think it really boils down to the openness to accept new technology. So if we are more open to accept new technology, and that's where startups will flourish, and also local enterprise will flourish. So I think actually Malaysia did pretty well in quite a number of new technologies. I see that there's quite a few fintechs that are coming up, which are pretty big in Malaysia as well. So I think it's really about the mindset. And I believe the next generation has this mindset. So we just have to come up with the right product that speaks to them. And I think that will open up their mind to new technologies and also local technologies.
Thank you. That's a lot of confidence out there to bring people at least, have some confidence when they go out. And Sakti, let's finish off with you. What are your thoughts? Share us your Wednesday wisdom.
Thank you, Linda. So coming back to this, what happened was, thanks to Hannover Messe in the first place, I actually went and stole ice to Eskimo, Industry 4.0 at Hannover Messe. I was speaking about how our homegrown solution was making waves into the industry 4.0 industry for providing solutions to multinational companies in this region. So that means, in other words, our homegrown solutions were being used by multinational companies from Germany or from Japan and so on and so forth. So that's quite interesting, because they found one of the simplest thing they found is we were effective at the same time cost conscious. Cost conscious meaning we were also cost effective, and that made them buy into our product and solutions. And till today they are using it. So that's
fantastic. Thank you, Sakti, for that. And I think with those positive, very confident answers, I really encourage each one of you who are listening out there in this industry. I know times are tough, but after listening to Kamarul, Yvonne, and Sakti, their success, their journey, I think everyone needs that boost of confidence. And see how far they've come, their brands have come. So I hope you guys managed to get something out of today and how you can stake your place in the future of manufacturing, a branding perspective. And we hope to have this conversation again. What a lovely group. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Kamarul. Thank you, Wai.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.